Hi everyone, I'm going to be speaking about New Caledonia today. It was really fun to learn about history and culture of somewhere that I had honestly never heard about. So let's get started. As always, I'm going to start the video with how I related to the culture. Then I'm going to go into some history. I'm going to give my review on what I read and finish off with some fun facts. So let's get started. How I related. So I had to look up some videos that I've left in the comment and do some research on the culture. The first thing is that the Kanak people, who are the indigenous people to the land, they live in clans, which reminded me of like the large Mexican families I'm used to, where older siblings often take care of and pass things down to their younger siblings and cousins. So I really like that. And then number two, I really loved the mindfulness that they practice to not be wasteful. So especially with food. So the way they see it is they only take what is necessary from the land as not to disrespect it. And that's something my parents really instilled in me, to be mindful of what I consume and what I use, to be respectful to my surroundings. So into the history. In 1500 BC, the Kanaks, a Melanesian tribe, arrives at Grande Terre. So the New Caledonia is made up of one big land. That one's Grande Terre, which means like big land. And then there are the surrounding smaller islands, so it's an archipelago. And in 1774, the explorer James Cook arrives and names the island New Caledonia. In the 1800s, many Protestant Anglo-Saxon missionaries and French Catholics come and initiate mass evangelization. Native people to the land are also forcibly displaced to be used as slaves or laborers for sugarcane plantations. In 1864, Napoleon decides to use New Caledonia as a penal territory, sending more than 25,000 prisoners to the island until its closure more than 40 years later in 1897. In 1853, France annexes or claims the island as a French territory. In 1864, Jules Garnier, a geologist, discovers nickel. In 1878, the Kanak people revolt over the loss of their lands to French settlers. Between 1878 and 1921, the Kanak population declines from 60,000 to 27,000 due to European diseases. In 1946, New Caledonia officially becomes a French overseas territory. Between 1976 and 1988, there are more protests from the Kanak population, creating serious tension and violence. This also leads to the formation of the FLNKS, which is the Front de Libération Nationale Kanak et Socialiste. It's the National Liberation Front for the Kanak and Socialist Party, a pro-independence party. In 1986 and 1987, French center-right government gives 2/3 of the land to European settlers, forcibly displacing Kanak clans. In 1988, the Madingen Accord proposes an end of direct rule from Paris and a vote for independence to happen in 10 years to try to help assuage the tensions between the settlers and the Kanak people. In 1998, the Treaty of Nouméa is signed, setting a 20-year plan for gradual transfer of autonomy. As a condition, the Vice President of New Caledonia must be a pro-independence politician if the presidency is held by an anti-independence politician. And 3 referendums are to be held on independence. In 2006, French Parliament votes to restrict French citizens in the territory from getting a vote on New Caledonian affairs, which is something the Independence Party does really want. In 2018, the first referendum occurs, with 56% against leaving France and 43% for it. In 2020, the second one happens, with a decrease of people against it, 53%, and an increase of people for it, 46%. In 2021, the third and final referendum occurs, but the pro-independent forces boycott this, saying this should not have been occurring during COVID, given the financial necessity of from France at the moment. Because of the boycotts and the pro-independence people did not vote, the referendum passes with 96% against independence. Currently, the Kanak population continues to fight for their independence and ask for a redo of the 2021 referendum. Now on to what I read. I read poetry from the politician, former VP, poet, feminist, and writer Déwé Gorodé. She was a great advocate for independence of her people, for the preservation of Kanak culture, and she passed away 2 years ago. So I really loved her poetry. I read it in French. I found her poetry very moving, speaking on resistance, on opposing colonization, just the beauty of her culture and the preservation of that culture, indigenous to the land. So I found her poetry amazing. I would highly recommend it. And I've left a link down in the comments of one of my favorite poems from her. You can easily translate that on Google to whatever language you prefer. And I wanted to end the video with 7 fun facts about New Caledonia. Number 1, it's named after the Latin name for Scotland, which is Caledonia, by, again, like I said, in 1774, James Cook, whose father was also Scottish. Number 2, it has a mountain that stands at 1,600 meters or 5,300 feet. It's called Mount Panier. Number 3, more than 200 bird species live on the island, and one of them is the kagu bird, which is a rare flightless bird. Number 4, the Kanak people are well known for their traditional wood carvings. They're really beautiful. Number 5, indigenous people make up 44% of the population. Number 6, New Caledonia contains 25% of the world's nickel reserves. Number 7, New Caledonia's lagoon is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next Friday for my next video. Thanks so much.